Hi, my name's Cameron Carlson with AnimeLocation.tv. I'm here at Matsuricon 2018 with Miss
Kari Wahlgren. Hey.
Thank you so much for being here. So how did you get started in the world of entertainment?
Well, I've been singing and doing acting projects and things since I was a little girl, and I was always fascinated with cartoons. And so one thing that I always wanted to do was voiceovers. So after I moved to Los Angeles, I got an agent for it and started auditioning for cartoons and video games and that sort of thing. And the first project that I did in Los Angeles was FLCL. I booked that role, and talk about a way to get started. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Well, that actually leads into our next question. The best thing you are, as you discussed, is being in Fully Cooley, and it's now gotten two more seasons going on Toonami. And again, it's really a strange thing. It took so long to get the second and third season. It's been 15 years in between a lot of this stuff. So what's it like to come back after 15 years? I mean, we're all not young folks anymore, but to come back into that so many years later, and it's harder for your voice now to do different 15 years ago versus now. So how have you kept yourself 15 years going into, and then of course the excitement of doing it again?
Well, I never thought it was going to happen. Every time I would go to a convention, people would say, hey, when are they going to do a sequel to FLCL? And after about, 12, 13 years, you're like, it's never going to happen, people. And it's never going to happen. So I was as surprised as anybody when they finally called and they said, hey, we are going to do some sequels. So in some ways, there was a lot of pressure just because the first one was so beloved. But on the other hand, it was kind of like putting on a really comfortable old sweater, because we showed up in the studio on the first recording day and started recording the first two lines, and everybody in the room was like, "That's our girl, that's her." So it was just like slipping right back into it.
That is being directed by Michael Sinter-Nicholas and Stephanie Shea, correct? Yep, I thought it was them over. Yeah, they're wonderful. I've met Michael several times. He's a wonderful, great guy. So again, two games that I've really loved is Fallout 4 and Skyrim. You got to be in both of those games. What's it like when Bethesda gives you a ring and says, hey, can you come in and do a couple lines for us?
Well, video games are so secretive. So a lot of times you get hired for something and you don't know what it is. And sometimes you don't know what it is until much longer after you've been working on the game. So I know with Fallout 4, I didn't know pretty much until the very end of recording what it was that I was working on. But it's so cool because there's such great franchises and everything. So just to be part of those worlds and Vex was a lot of fun in Skyrim.
I enjoyed playing the game and hearing you from time to time. So a lot of fans may or may not know this, is that you are Saber in both the Fate Stay Night and Zero. What's it like bringing her to life, and then on top of that, knowing how much she ties back into an English folklore? And, honestly, myself, I have the original Bandai individual disc by disc, the original Fate Stay Night. I have that disc by disc because it was buy one, get one at FYE back in the day. So that's how I collected all 6 of them. So what was it like for you to bring a strong female character to life, knowing that she represents the nobility of England?
Gosh, no pressure there. No, I really loved playing that character, and things sometimes it changes hands when they do the sequels and things like that. So I've felt so fortunate that I've gotten to come back and replay the character, and I love getting to play a strong female like that. And I like the fact that with some of the sequels with it, they've kind of gone into some different sides of her. So we see kind of her sweeter, maybe slightly more vulnerable side at moments, and obviously how tough and what an amazing leader she is. And so it's been a great character to play.
Alrighty, and now taking a very big departure from normal animes, you've got to be in Rick and Morty, a show that has just really, really hit a lot of people on Adult Swim, and it has a really vast, talented cast. And having Justin Roiland be both Rick and Morty, what's it like now playing one of the characters that has fallen in love with Justin Roiland's character of Morty?
Well, how can you not fall in love with Justin? I mean, he's a really wonderful guy. We actually met doing fish hooks for Disney. So we had worked on that show, and then, he was having auditions for this little unknown new project that he was doing. So I had no idea it would kind of become such a juggernaut. But it's great because he and Dan and all of their writers are just so smart. Like, you get in a room with them and I find myself almost saying nothing because I just want to hear them speak, because their brains just operate on a much faster level than most anybody else in the room. So yeah, it's been such an honor to be part of their show and just get a peek into what their crazy minds think of next.
As someone who's only watched the VR game, that was actually, have you ever seen the VR game that they made?
I haven't seen it, but we will.
It's really fun. Yeah. It was really, really fun. Now, throughout the years, you've had a chance to either animated films or TV series bring either superheroes or the villains to life of Marvel. What has it been like for you to just do like Emma Frost and then go over and do some more of the heroes? Like, what is it like to just bring those characters to life and have fans see you do so many different multiple roles of being evil and good?
That's been a joy because I was a huge superhero fan growing up, both DC and Marvel. But specifically with Marvel, I used to read a bunch of the comic books, and so Emma Frost was a big one for me. Like that was a character that I was really nervous to play just because I just think she's so cool and so ambiguous, Somebody asked me once, is it more fun to play the heroes and the villains? And I said, well, definitely the villains are a lot more fun to play. And they said, well, what is Emma Frost? And the answer is depends on the day, depends on what mood she's in. So
whether or not who she's dating someone.
Exactly.
Mainly, Scott Summers. So you're also well known for playing in a show I truly love is Fu and Samurai Champloo. Again, it's a weird mix mash of Japanese culture and hip hop. What was it like to work on that project and know that it's now 13 years since it aired and people are still finding it some way, somehow they're still finding that show, and then it just gets reinvigorated over and over. I actually have a friend who's about the same size of actual Fu in the show, so she actually has a kimono and everything. She hides fireworks, so it's all cool.
I love that. Yeah. That was one of my favorite projects to work on, and I loved the soundtrack. The music in that show was just absolutely amazing. And I don't know, with what's happened with FLCL, it does kind of spark this tiny little hope in me that, maybe they'll come back for a sequel for that one. Because that would, if somebody were to say, hey, what's your role that you would love to have a sequel for, it would be the FLCL. Samurai Champloo after FLCL.
Well, we never truly found the samurai that smells like sunflowers. Yeah. So, kind of finishing things up, we know about the pesky NDA. So what fun roles would you like to say that are going to potentially be coming out shortly that you're allowed to talk about that fans can check out?
Well, they just released new episodes of Trolls, The Beat Goes on Netflix, and I play Harper and Mags and a number of other guest trolls on that show. There are about 4 things that are just about ready to be announced, and I can't announce those yet, so I'm really, really sorry about that, guys. But you can find me on social media, and was that okay? Great. I'm tapping into my Emma Frost. I'm on social media at Kari Wahlgren on Twitter, KariWahlgren. I'm on Instagram at Kari_Wahlgren. And I have a Facebook page as well. So there are some exciting announcements that are coming up really, really soon. I just am literally days or weeks away from being able to talk about them. So sorry.
And then what message would you love to give to the fans that have kept up and given you so much support throughout the years?
Thank you. To the fans out there, thank you so much. I had no idea when I auditioned for a little show 17 plus years ago called FLCL that there would be this fan community. And so coming to the conventions is very, very special because I actually get to meet you guys and see you face to face and hear your stories and see your tattoos and your artwork. And it's a very special feeling to have been part of something that means something to people. So thank you guys. Thanks a lot.
And thank you for coming on the show. Thank you so much.